of y'all online for the entire rest of the year. It's kind of interesting. No, it's like 20. It's like 20. Yeah, I heard that. Now it's just like all of y'all. What's going online? It's frozen. Okay. All right. If we move fast enough today, quick enough, whatever. I'll give y'all homework time. Why is it so frozen? Because we're checking homework tomorrow, and then we'll do a very calm and organized Jeopardy for the first time in a while, and we'll have a translation quiz. So tomorrow we'll talk about what's on the quiz. But let's keep talking about perfect passive. So we just had this long, elaborate explanation of this yesterday. But basically, it's like we got the first 3 tenses of passive voice with chapter 18, and now we have the perfect system version. So it's 3 more, right? There's 6 tenses total. Now we can form a verb in any tense in both active and passive voice. The weird thing about these are that they're in 2 chunks. And something I didn't make a big point about yesterday that has to do with that is that, like, yeah, it's 2 chunks. It's the 4th principal part of the verb, which you'll usually be able to recognize just fine. There's like a handful that I warned y'all about that look a little weird. And then it's a form of sum essa. Whereas like sum essa by itself means like I am, you are, it is, present tense. When it's combined like this, it's a perfect passive kind of thing. So it's I was verb, you were verb, etc. The verb is still happening to the subject. But where am I going with this? The thing I want to bring up is that, oh my gosh, dang examples. Let me go back real quick. It's like it's the 4th principal part in the sum essa. So like what ending for the 4th principal part and what form of sum essa? Basically, the ending of the 4th principal part is just going to agree with the subject in number, case, and gender, like an adjective would, which is an overcomplicated way of saying, like, if the subject is Cruella, then laudata is going to get an A ending. And as long as the noun is first or second declension, we'll be able to kind of like visually link those really easy. It's like, oh, yeah, laudata is going with Cruella. It's the girl was praised, like the verb happening to her. There's agreement there in terms of gender, etc. And then the S, like what form of sum essa? Well, if it's a she, he, or whatever, and it, then it's going to be S. But if it's first singular, it would be like laudata sum would be I if the subject was feminine. I was praised or whatever. And then so on and so forth. So the verb is agreeing person, number, and tense with the subject. The 4th principal part is agreeing case, number, gender with the subject. So, but like I can kind of disregard that a little bit because I feel like that'll be kind of clear. Sometimes I explain things to explain them, but it's like I hear myself, I'm like, that just makes it sound more complicated than it like really is. In addition to that, this chapter we got interrogative pronouns and adjectives. You can use these relative pronouns to ask questions now, big deal. When it's an interrogative pronoun, which is not a term you need to remember, it's a more open-ended question like, what are we learning today? Versus an interrogative adjective would be like, what subject are we learning today? And again, pertaining to, you'll probably see some agreement between that first quiquai-quad and then the noun that's right after it. So hopefully there, like Quim and Liber both look vaguely accusative to you because we're asking about the book. Which book are you reading? Okay, that's that. Let's do this practice really, really quick, and then we have the story. It's a story about the Judgment of Paris, which it feels like deja vu, right? We've had like 3 or 4 stories in a row about Achilles. It's weird at LTA. It's like y'all, Homer is just like forced on y'all so much, especially in the 9th grade. Like 6th grade, you get children's Homer if you went here in the 6th grade, and then I guess you have like, but then you have Latin, and then so he comes up in Latin. And then 9th grade, you get ancient lit. So I am sorry if y'all are like completely done with Homer. I don't blame you. Okay, he straight up absolutely does not. And I would love to have had. Well, I will say I didn't care about that stuff until like I was in college. So like, yeah, you're fine if you don't. But I just want to say you move on to other things after the 9th grade. You have like British literature and all that kind of stuff. And then you might not be taking the mythology class next year, but eventually you might take that like your senior year or whatever if you're still around. And we will spend no more than 1 week on Greek mythology, I promise. We might start there, but then it's Japanese, North Egyptian stuff. So, yeah, that's a very, like, Western-centric kind of thing to be like, oh, Greek mythology, Greek culture and stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay, it's great, it's awesome, but like you don't want to just do that. But anyway, I kind of like the Judgment of Paris story. A little bit of practice on this. So quis librum tibi dedit. What verb is dedit from, Ari or Brandy? I thought it was really weird perfect tenses. It's a Christmassy kind of verb. Yeah, to get from dodare, good. So it's like who, not gives, but who, perfect tense, anyone out loud? Give. So it's kind of give, but then obviously that sounds weird. So who gave, or have given is fine too. Who gave, anyone? What would that be? Librum tibi. Who gave the librum? We get library from this thing.
The books.
Yeah. So yeah, remember liber is book, but we also have the adjective liber, liberis, libera, and I'm pronouncing it differently because it's a long I in the word for free. So we have the word free that we get words like liberty from, and then we have the liber book that word that we get like library from. And librarian. Who gave the book to be?
You.
To you, right? That's dative. But anyway, that's an interrogative pronoun because it's more open-ended. We're not asking about the book or the you. We're asking this like more open-ended question. This one is just it's just like reminding us like qui, quack, quack can also still be a relative pronoun and not this question word. So the man, what's qui gonna be, Tristan or Sierra? The man who or which? Who, yeah. And just to be clear, it's like you can use the word which to refer to a person, like W-H-I-C-H. But anyway, like who is probably a little more specific. The man who, it's the same thing. Librum tibi dedit. Anyone? Gave you the book. Te laudavit. What tense, Rowan or Aiden, is laudavit? Laudo, laudare, laudavi.
That's like second.
Tense.
Tense. Oh,
it's about time. Tense is about time, Randy. It's perfect. Yeah, Ron, I was probably about to say it. The B is the giveaway there. But anyway, the man who gave you the book praised Te. Yeah, you. So one thing that's useful to the point that I can make here is that tibi is the dative you, like to or for you. Te is the accusative ablative you. So we're saying a direct object you, but also an indirect object you in the same sentence. And then now we have an interrogative adjective example. So this quim, so quis up there, it was like who. But quim librum, they're going together. I've already made that clear with the underline. So Nathan or Landon, what would quim librum be? We're going to be asking about the librum. So we don't want to say who. Not who librum, but what word would we use? We're just talking about it. Remember, like qui, quack, quad is either going to be who if it's talking about a person or, Anyway, what? Yeah, which. Yeah, it can be that, but it's like not. We already have illa. So anyway, so which book, okay? That's a difference between these two different uses of like a question word, qui, quack, quad. It's like, it can be who or what, opening this more asking this more open-ended question, or it can be asking about a noun that's most likely right next to it. Which book? And then it's weird. It's like a dropped subject. And I'm going to use the helping verb has to get to this verb. But which book has, and what kind of subject, Nathan or Landon, for dead? It's dropped. So what can we use? Which book has, or have, I guess. I, you, it, we, all that. For dead it. It. Yeah, which book has it or he or she given to you? All right. Couple more of these and we'll get to the story. I think the stories are more interesting because at least it's like you're like, it's just narrative, even if you have heard it a million times. But keep in mind, guys, Judgment of Paris never mentioned in Iliad. There's like a lot of stuff crucial to the Trojan War that never even comes up in Iliad. I think some of it is like Homer thought it was corny. Like, I don't think Homer likes the Achilles heel thing, so he just like doesn't mention it. Achilles doesn't even die. And I don't know if he wants to allude to the Judgment of Paris. But anyway, Culius. Oh, I just gave all these away. I guess I just never thought we should go through all of these one by one. But again, it's interrogative pronoun, then a relative pronoun, then an interrogative adjective. So like first one, whose book has Cicero given you? So Culius is genitive, so it's like the subject is showing up later. Cicero wasn't there, it'd be he, she, or it, or whatever. Of which book was Cicero the author? That's an awkward sentence. But that's an interrogative adjective. These might not look like it, but Culius, like ideally we know as a genitive, and Libri could be genitive, so they're going together. We're asking about that noun right next to it. Of which book? That just sounds awkward. And then I got a relative clause example, but there's nothing really weird going on there. Cui, how can you translate cui? As instead of just whom or which, what preposition can you already kind of assume you're going to be using? It's one of two different things. Riley or Rylan, what two prepositions do datives get? So ablative, it could be anything. It could be by or with, seem to be the default, but it could be any of our prepositions. But dative, Randy, not from, no, remember, so like you give a direct object blank an indirect object. Two or four is usually what we use for a dative. So yeah, from, you're probably mixing up from and for. But this would be like, and here, so to kui amiko, those are going together. Amiko could be ablative or dative, but since kui's dative, I'm assuming they're both dative. So it's going to be to kui amiko. What do you think that would be, Lily, Kaylee, or Anna? To kui amiko. We're going to be asking about the amiko. What does amigo mean? Friend. And so what? How, you don't want to say to who friend? To huh?
That.
Sometimes we'd be able to use that, but here we should use which. To which friend? This is a horrible second person perfect tense. Have you given the book? To which friend have you given the book? I don't think I did a good job of explaining that. But again, it's just like kui is always dative. That is the dative. Kui quai quad. Kuius is the genitive. It's like whose or of which. Kui though, it's going to be to whom or to which. And then amiko, like it could have been ablative, but because kui was dative, it was just kind of logical that they were both dative. We're asking about the amigo. Yeah, indeed. And then we have a more open-ended one here, where it'd be like, to whom has Cicero given the book, right? These are rare, honestly. Like usually when you see interrogative pronouns, it's just like a nominative, like who or which, subject, verb. So these are like kind of complicated and they're kind of rare, which is good because they're complicated. You already did the vocab quiz for this chapter. Tereti sumus. What does tereo, terera mean, Sophia or Piper? What's tereo, tereri? To what? To tear. I'm sorry? No, it's a chapter 1 verb, but we did move through chapter 1 way too quickly, Landon.
Is it to terrify?
Yeah, to terrify or scare. So this is a perfect passive verb. Is it an I, we, you, it, y'all, or they kind of verb, Chris or Tristan? If it's tereti sumus, just Chris or Tristan. Tristan, what person number sumus? Or don't tell me person number. Is it an I, you, it, we, are, they verb? It's, huh? Chris?
It's
weird.
Weird. That's what.
I said weird.
All right, but I thought you said I, you, we. I thought you were like doing a gag where you like said multiple answers. So it's we, and it's perfect past. Okay, so it's not we actively terrify. Make it a complete action in the past, and make it happen to the we, Chris or Tristan. So we. You're gonna not did. You're going to use like was or has been.
Was. We did.
So we. Yeah. Oh, not we was. Sorry, we.
We were.
Yeah, we were, and then what? Then terrified. Yeah. The only thing I want to warn you guys about is like don't make it we are terrifying. I mean, the 7th and 8th graders right now, they're still in chapter 18, and I'm having to get that point across. It's like the ing ending for a verb that's always active. So you might use the right helping verb, but if you don't avoid that ing ending, then it's not going to be passive. Let's do a few more of these. What? Okay. Nakata S, you were killed. I just skipped right to that for some reason. So guys, if Nakata S is second person here, you were terrified, what would Nakata Eris be, anyone? Eris is the same as S, but it's in a different tense. No, it's gonna this is now future perfect passive. So Eris is the future version of S. So this is future perfect passive. You got to use 3 helping verbs to translate that. You will have been killed. Yeah. Whereas Nakata Eros is flu perfect passive. You had been killed. And these are on this chart. Let's refocus, guys. remember these, like the first three tenses that we learned in the passive forms, those just have endings. It's like a form of that verb. Where the perfect passive, annoyingly, it's these two different words. It's the fourth principal part and then a form of sumessa. So that's why, unfortunately, I can't write like exactly what the ending is necessarily. I just have to write fourth PP means fourth principal part plus, if it's perfect passive, sum ss. If it's blue perfect, eram, erasa, rot. That's the imperfect of sumessa. But it leads to this being blue perfect. And then the future forms of sumessa plus the fourth principal part. But yeah, that's why you're saying for P over and over again under the perfect passive. This is the passive version of our active verb pair. Let's get to the story. Come on. What is this? They were conquered. Oh, sorry, someone was about to answer, and then I just did it. Sorry. We were
Wiped out. Destroyed.
This is destroyed. Good. I was getting mixed up with delecto, which is delay. We were destroyed. I have sentences, but let's get to the story. We get into the story so we can at least talk about something we've never talked about before. We just haven't talked about it at all. All right, let's mark up our story as we go. If you want to go over the top with
Why do you keep on covering up? We have topics on this.
It says wedding.
Huh?
It says wedding.
Wedding. Oh yeah, so nuptiae is wedding. No, yeah, I don't know. I'm still traumatized. I think a seventh grader. There was a seventh grade student the first year I taught here. Her parents complained. I probably told the story. They're like, oh, there was nudity in Mr. Kettle Knows class, and I was like, it's like stuff you see in a museum. But she ended up leaving the school, and I'm like, is that because of my class? It's ridiculous. Yeah. But some parents are just way over the top about. Anyway, who cares? It's because I use these slides for all grades. All right, the goddess Discord. We kind of left off here. The goddess of Discord, Rowan or Aiden. Why is going to be who or which?
Which one?
It's that third word. The goddess Discord, or Eris is her Greek name.
Who?
Yeah, who, right? The person. The goddess Discord, who, Solom, anyone? What is Solus? Oh, it's alone or only. There it is, right? Like solo. Who alone, and then nuptia is a word for wedding, which I misspelled. And Peleie and Thetis here are in what case, anyone? It's the nuptia blank Peleus and Thetis. These are Achilles' parents. They're weird third declension names because most Greek names are forced awkwardly into the third declension when they're Latinized. But what case would this probably be, Tristan? It's the wedding blank Peleus and Thetis. So that would be, yeah, so we would use of because they're what case, Brandy? Thank you. So the goddess who alone to the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, and then we actually have to translate this. Non-erotvocata. This is something I should draw attention to. In my notes, I made it sound like the fourth principal part would always be to the left, and then the form of sumessa would be to the right. But it doesn't have to be that way. The form of sumessa can be to the left of the fourth principal part, and sometimes it can make it even harder to identify that they're actually working together in consort. Does anybody remember voco vocare too? We get words like vocalize, but it's not quite deco. Deco is to speak. Voco vocare is more like what you do to someone with your cell phone. Call. Yeah, call. And what tense is this, Nathan or Landon? It's not just perfect passive. It's erot vocata. Vocata is agree. It's feminine. It's going all the way back to agree with the goddess Discord, who is a woman. And then erot is third singular because she's a she, he, it. But it's not perfect passive. It's because if it was perfect passive, it would be vocata est. But erot is the past tense version of est. So it's like all the way back in the past. Anyone out loud? Blue perfect passive. So who alone to the wedding of Peleus and Thetis? What? Anyone had
Child.
not? But you need another helping verb. Been called. Had not been called. I have another 9th grade kid named Ben. And I also have a cousin named Ben. And I like to remind them that their name is the helping verb, which seems humiliating. I'm glad my name isn't just a helping verb. Had not, who alone had not been called. I don't know why I left out not. Maybe it shows up on the next slide. But yeah, remember, I think we hear about this. Like we get the introduction. We get the wedding invitation from Zeus to the wedding of Peleus and Thetis. Does anybody know what the prophecy was for Thetis' child? Who is Thetis, real quick, anyone? She's not just the mom of Achilles. She's a what kind of goddess? Anyone? Yeah, she's like a sea. I think she's like technically a goddess, but I certainly think of her as more like just a nymph. But there's a prophecy that her child would overtake their father. I feel like that is like the most common prophecy in Greek mythology. It just like shows up everywhere. And so Zeus for a second was like, should I have a relationship with Thetis? But then he like found out about the prophecy. He was like, oh, nah. So they like ponder off and they're like, you should marry this human dude. So anyway, yeah, she had not, and so they have a wedding. Everyone's invited except Discordia, who doesn't have any other stories. Eris or Discord doesn't show up anywhere else. This is her only role. I guess she was unpopular, and people are like, oh, don't bring her. Her name literally means discord, which is another word for disagreement. So like, don't bring her to this wedding. We're trying to party. And she like finds out about it, and so this is what she does. Anyway, she had not been called to the wedding. Mota est. This one's weird, guys. So moveo movera, super easy to tell that this verb means to move, but its fourth principal part, that's one of the fourth principal parts that it doesn't look all that much like the first two. What words are related to the fourth principal part, though? Moveo movera, movi motus. Anyone? If we get like move and moving from the first two, what do we get from the fourth? Like motion, stuff like motion, locomotion. So mota est, it almost doesn't even look like it, right? But this is a perfect passive verb. So let's ask Nathan or Rylan, what would this be? We're still talking about the goddess Discord. This was all relative clause stuff about her. She had not been called to the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, but the rest of her main clause is just the goddess Discord. What? This is a verb that comes from to move. And what does ira mean, anyone, to help Nathan and Rylan? What is ira? If you're irate?
Anger.
Yeah, anger, good. So she was, and it's a verb that means to move, but it's happening to her. She was moved, but how do we get anger in there? She was moved
Angrily.
she was moved by anger. Yeah, guys, anytime you have a passive verb, I feel like 90% of the time you have a passive verb, you will probably have an ablative and you use the word by to translate it. If it's a person, it'll be ablative of agent, you'll see ob. But if it's just a noun or an idea, like a thing, it's an ablative of means. And formerly we translate ablative of means with, and you can still do that here. She was moved with anger, that's fine. But by is like a touch better, I guess. So she was moved by anger. I still didn't add not. Gosh. What am I doing here? Who had not been called to the wedding? And not. Oh my gosh. Alone and not. Had not. Okay. So this is our setup. What is she going to do now that she's moved by anger? Ieket is a kind of weird third principal part for iaco, iakra, to throw. So like I'm seeing this verb immediately, we're just talking about it, he, she, or it. It's probably a drop subject, and we're going to just say she. So she threw, therefore. Igator is a horrible conjunction, therefore. And then this is confusing. What does malus, mala, mala mean? It's the opposite of bonus?
Minus.
Almost, kind of.
Plus.
Keyword.
If plus is to minus, bonus is to malus. It's bad or evil. Bonus is good or kind. Malice is evil. You get words like malevolent, maleficent, malnourished, maladjusted. It just means like bad, or like when it's used as a root. So anyway, she therefore threw. But what I was getting at is also malum as a noun means apple, and that is a little confusing. But she threw therefore. And what else do we need to gloss here? You remember Regia, Riley, Kaylee, or Anna? You said what? It's the feminine version of queen. So it's queen. Sorry. So Rex Regis is king. Yeah. So in, when it takes an accusative, what is it? It's not in. It's in to. But it can also be, because we don't want to say she threw an apple into somebody. I guess like that kind of makes sense, but it sounds a little weird. Ab's actually kind of okay, honestly, but like toward. So in can be toward. So she threw toward. What kind of queen? Anyone out loud? The immortal queen Deorum. She's the queen blank Deorum. What genitive is de?
Genitive.
Yeah, good. What genitive is Deorm? It's genitive. She's the queen of the gods, right? And then look, there's the direct object is all the way after that. But we can translate it that way. That sounds fine. She threw therefore toward the queen of the immortal gods a golden apple. In English, we're more used to the direct object being right after the verb. But this doesn't even sound like Yoda. It's fine to do it this way. And then in quo, we're going to talk about the apple. I'll just say now, quo's antecedent is going to be the apple. But we don't want to say in which, because it's not like there's something in the apple. Well, y'all probably know the story a little bit, maybe. What was blank the apple? What's the preposition we don't want to translate in as in here, is what I'm trying to get at. Anyone? Blank which, scriptai errant. Maybe it'll help if we translate scriptai errant. We talked about scriptai sumessa yesterday. It's from scribo, right? To kind of to write. So was what? Was scriptai. What would that be?
I was writing.
But no, ing is always active. This needs to be passive. Was written, good. So we don't want to say in which was written. She didn't like open the apple up and it's like, what, anyone? Huh? No. How can we translate in? In is either in, some, very rarely at, or it's like if you're, it's on. I'm just on. Sorry. I was not able to lead you guys to that. So on which was written high literai. What? These are those letters.
Those.
It's actually these. Hick is this and these. Hick is this and these. So it was written these letters. And I guess this is ancient Greek. I sadly do not know Greek, but I assume that this is, well, I won't give it away, but bellissimi. Bellissimi. This is a superlative adjective, yeah. What does bella spell bella mean? What, you want me to go back? I can. Bella spell bellum as an adjective means beautiful, right? So she writes bellissimi, and something you get in 26 is called superlative adjectives. It turns out adjectives can level up. They have a comparative form, like there's beautiful, but then there's more beautiful, and there's like the most beautiful. And that's what bellissimi is. But also she puts it in the dative case, so it's not just like the most beautiful, it's what preposition. And this is a throwback. This came up at the beginning of class. What would the preposition be if bellissimi here is dative? It's not genitive. It's not of the most beautiful. Yeah, for or to, actually. Actually, either to or for work. Nathan or whoever, I don't know. It's just like back row. I'm hearing a little bit. It's kind of confusing me. So to or for the fairest. The note tells us to do fairest. So I guess bellas can also be fair. But like we learned it initially as beautiful. It is the same. It's just a different form of the word that we already have. That it's beautiful. So yeah, Eris just wants to start up some drama. She's like, oh, the popular kids are gonna like have a party without me. Okay, that really sucks. And so she throws the apple into the party, and she's gonna stir up some drama here. So Cooey, dative just like bellissimi. So we don't want to just say whom. We want to say what whom. Anyone? No, we do. We can use whom. It's going to be about a person. The spoiler. But what preposition, Nathan, do we use for datives? We just talked about it at length. Huh? From would show up with an ablative, to or for. So we're going to do that again. To or for, either one works here. To whom, what does debat mean? Anyone from debate or debera? It never means oh, it always means sh. Should. To whom should the malum? Back row, please chill out. Please chill out a little bit. To whom should the apple dari? Not dare. Dare is the infinitive of dare, to give. This is the passive infinitive. So to whom should the apple what? It's just like when it's an infinitive, it'll be present. So avoid things like will and was and were. But you're gonna have a to, but you don't want to say to give. You're gonna say to, and then add basically be. To be. I'm confusing myself. To whom should the apple be given? So sorry, you don't need to. I don't know where they're given. Sometimes to would happen in certain other contexts. To whom should the apple be given? All right. And then I don't know who's actually asking this. This might be like the narrator or something. But yeah, this is Eris's plan. And so sometimes we say, and even at the end of this story, they say something about like Helen's the reason the war happened. But like it's Eris, or it's them not inviting Eris. Like that's what sets everything into motion. Or it's y'all know who Helen's dad is? That also never comes up in it might come up in Iliad. It's Zeus. And specifically it's Swan Zeus. Okay? He turns into a swan. Okay.
So
what's that?
so that means someone had intercourse with the swan.
That's okay. I wasn't gonna explicitly say it, but
No, that's
you
Scott.
forced my hand. Kaylee? Yes. But that happens a lot, and what we're gonna find out in my mythology class is that like I think Greek mythology is like way creepier than other world mythologies. I don't think they're kind of I mean that and so incest is, anyway, that's different when you're talking about gods, but I'm just saying like I think when we get to Norse and Egyptian stuff, we are not going to find as much creepy content, which is good. What?
Well, in Norse mythology, Loki turned into a female and gave birth.
Okay, so never mind. Maybe Norse has just as many weird things. That's like Tiresias is he turns into a woman for 10 years, and that somehow makes him like really wise. That he anyway. Weird implications from ancient cultures telling fever dream stories. All right, to whom should the apple be given? And then, what goddess is this? Anyone? Her Roman name is kind of horrible. Roland, do you know what Minerva is the Roman name of which Greek goddess? Her Greek name is so much better. Minerva sounds like an old lady, but it's the unfortunate Roman name of my favorite goddess, Bar. She's a war goddess. Athena. So I guess Athena. Athena sounds so much cooler than Minerva. Why were they like, no, she needs to be named Minerva now? So that's Minerva. What goddess is Venere, if you had to guess? Venus. Friday is actually named Dies Veneris, the day of Venus. And then it became Friday because it's based on what Norse goddess? Anyone? Freya, who I know nothing about, but I will learn about soon because I have to. And then who is Iunoni? Whoever it is, Caden or whoever, just chill out, please. What's Iunoni? What goddess is that? So we got Athena, we got Venus, and we got Juno. And then what case are they? Because they're just like floating there. It's just three names in a row. But like, think of the context. To whom should the apple be given? Blank Juno, or Venus, or Minerva, or Athena? Yeah, two. Good. They're dative. Yeah. Good. Even Jupiter himself. This is kind of funny. So we said tereo is to terrify. Timeo is the opposite. It's to be what?
Fear.
Yeah, to fear. Good. To fear or to be scared. Jupiter himself fears to blank the judgments. Y'all remember Fakio? So it's like to make. He fears to make, so he's like, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to like pick between these three uber powerful goddesses. One of which is my wife and sister. Another which is my daughter. In some versions, actually two of them are his daughter. Minerva comes out of his head when he has a headache, right? He gets Hephaestus to whack him with a hammer, and like Minerva comes out fully formed.
So Athena?
He eats a woman, and so again he gets a really bad headache, and he's like, "Hey, Hephaestus, can you like smack the heck out of me?" And when he does that, Athena comes out of his head. Typical stuff. Yeah. So yeah, Jupiter's like, nah, I can't do this. I'm not gonna do it. And that kind of explains why it falls on the shoulders of this like crappy Trojan prince that no one likes. So Ad Paredon. Ad. I feel like we never learned what ad means. Yeah, good. It's two, but not like you're giving a direct object to something, because it'll be dated. But it's like two, like they're going to them. And so two are toward Paris. Who is Paris? He is the Filium Regis Troiani. He is the Filium Regis Troiani. He's the what? What is Filium though? What is Filius? Yeah, what is Filius? We get filial from it, which does not help at all because no one uses that word. But it's like a puer's relationship to a pater or mater parentes. It means son. It means son. Filius is son, Filius daughter. So to Paris, the son, then what? Regis Troia. We'll use your intuition here. We don't even know these are genitives. But then he's the son blank the king. Of the king blank Troy. Of Troy. He's the son of the king of Troy. To him, Elytrae Dei come. Right? How many of those are these goddesses? But like how many? Trace. Three goddesses go. So they're like, okay, Jupiter, the king of the gods, doesn't want to choose. So let's go. Like, why do they choose him? I guess because he's the prince. And why is he He's the prince, but like Hector is obviously like the more important prince, right? But he probably wouldn't get involved in that nonsense. How many siblings do Paris? No. How many sisters do Hector and Paris have? Y'all remember?
Like 30.
Yeah, it's like 50 for some reason. And surely not all of them are like. I don't think their mom is all. I can't talk anymore. That they are all the children of Andromache, right? Andromache is the wife of Priam. I get her mixed up with Hecuba because they're both kind of bummer names. Yeah, Hecuba is Hector's wife. Weird. Why would their names be kind of similar? Hector, Hecuba? Unless I am getting that mixed up. All right, those three goddesses come to this dude. Yeah. Oh, Care. Oh, dear youth, they say. Who? Nostrum is sometimes just ours, but here it's going to be like, who of us? Let's come back to Tua Sententia. I see their outlet, but I don't know what to do with them yet to connect them to this. Who of us est bellissima? Is the fairest. Tua Sententia. We haven't seen Sententia in a long time. It can literally mean sentence, but it's usually more like thought or opinion or like anything that's kind of like communicative. So what preposition can we use to connect your opinion to this? Yeah, in your opinion. Who in your opinion is the most beautiful? It doesn't seem like something that Athena would care about. Juno I could see, and Venus is like the goddess of beauty, so like sure. But also it's like that's a broken competition. She's the goddess of love and beauty. Of course she's gonna win. Okay, but it comes down to more what they offer him, right? Or that's what it seems to come down to. The great gift, or a great gift, Tibby, dative of you. So we keep seeing these datives, guys. So if we learn one thing today, it's the two prepositions that go with datives. So a great gift, blank you. Anyone? Yeah, for you, maybe it might be to you. Let's see. For you, parabitur. Pero, parare is to prepare. Okay, it looks like prepare, except it's missing the pre, I guess. What tense, Aiden, in voice is parabitur? It's not active. I'm asking the voice. It's passive. I know it's like confusing. It's like the voice of a verb. What does that mean? But it's passive. And then the bi, it's the opposite of past tense. It's future. But let's let Aiden answer. What's a helping verb that you use to translate future? It sounds like a dude's name, but not been. But no, it is Bill, right? My nephew is turning 1 tomorrow, and his name is William. And I'm over here like, we should call him Bill. But my sister's like, that's an old man name. But William's a little long.
No, William is very much like
Well, sure. I mean, it's like a step above like John. Like if John is like the most basic, like kind of like white European guy name, William's a step above. I prefer Guillermo. But anyway, why was I saying it? Because will, right? Will is the helping verb that communicates the future tense. So this is future passive. So a great gift for you will not actively prepare, but will what? Passive. Make it passive. Will. What's that bug that buzzes around? It likes honey.
Fly.
Will be. What? Will be. And the verb means to prepare. Huh? No, make it just think of it more simply. A great gift for you will be what? Not actively preparing, but will be. It happens to the great gift. Oh, weird. I guess I lost ours just like it's like a long day. I'm a little done with it. Will be prepared. Right, that's all it is. Will be prepared. A great gift will be prepared for you. Sorry, I should have clicked through a long time ago. But what, Rowan, is ab? So ab is from when its verb is active. Wait.
From.
Yeah, I guess it is just from here. Okay, I was leading you to by, but I think from will be prepared. Oh, what is by though? By. Okay, I guess usually I picture it like happening in front of the passive verb. Will be prepared by. This is gonna be like this or that goddess, which. And this is, I don't know why they don't use Lego Allegra, because we recently got Lego Allegra can mean to read or choose. But this is the word that means to choose. And so who's choosing something, Rowan? Or Riley? The Legates is what person? Is it an IU or it?
It's you.
Yeah. So a great gift will be prepared by the goddess which you choose. So it's not actually it's not a fair competition at all. It's not actually about aesthetics or like who like Paris actually thinks is the best looking for whatever the heck that would be worth. Especially when we're talking about goddesses, like who cares? Like, they probably shapeshift. It's about they're bribing them. They're like we're all gonna give you a different gift. This is Orlando Bloom and unknown actress from 2001's Troy. It'd be fun if you knew the Iliad really well. It'd be funny if your agent was like, "Hey, like you should be Paris." Like he's the Trojan prince, right? But it's like you'd be like, "Okay, cool. I'm like I'm a main character, but like the whole point of my character is like I'm like a jerk. I'm kind of like a loser."
The douche.
Yeah, but this is his path to Pirates of the Caribbean stardom. So, and then I don't know if I heard that actress's name, maybe I would know who she is. But that is Helen. And I guess Helen is there were some Greek people who had blonde hair, but Orlando Bloom does not look like a Turkish man. I think we do tend to think of the characters in Iliad as being skewing just vaguely European, but it's in Turkey, right? So they would have like different complexions in this. Who does Paris choose? And then I see Quo Dono. What? What do you mean?
Yeah, and
Oh, I'm just talking about Helen. Sorry, yeah, she has nothing to do with the goddesses being judged. Does that make sense? Yeah. Hera is the Greek name of Juno. We're calling her Juno in the story. But it's Latin. Okay, guys, this is one of these interrogatives. We're almost done, I promise. And maybe I would still give y'all some time. Like, I'll stop teaching soon and give y'all homework time. But Quo Dono is one of these interrogative adjectives. It's not an open-ended question. We're going to be asking you about the dono, which means gift. And they're ablative. So if y'all had to, like, assume a preposition before we even say which gift, what would that be? It's not going to be to or for. These aren't dative. That would be to cui dono. It's to quo dono. Quo and qua are the ablatives. So there's a preposition that starts with B and a preposition that starts with a W that we tend to use as default with an ablative. Anyone? Caden, you're going to get moved in a second, buddy. Really? I'm straight up hallucinating again. What preposition, anyone? Auditory hallucinations. You know what I mean? Anyone? So it'd be with. With like if the verb is active. And it'd be by if it's passive. And oh, look, we have another future tense passive verb. It's the same. We just saw parabitor, will be prepared. Now we have movabitor, will be what? Anyone? Yeah. So by which gift will, not just he, but will the animus, they're getting deep here. They're getting metaphysical. I don't think Paris has one of these, but what does animus mean? It can mean like this.
Right.
It can be like mind, soul, or spirit. It's just like any word that would describe your non-corporeal essence, right? By which gift will the spirit be moved? Okay, but it's not just the spirit; it's a spirit of the EU dex. Think of words like judicial. Yeah, the spirit of the judge be moved, right? That's what we're wondering. Who's it gonna choose? Well, you tell me. What are the gifts? I need to know what the gifts are. What's being promised to you? Okay, so we have a day off. I get to go home at 4 today. Sweet. And then tomorrow. Y'all think they're going to bring pizza every time? Spoilers, y'all don't even know. But a mom showed up with like 7 pizzas at the end of rehearsal, and it kind of softened the blow of getting home at 7:30 last night.
I mean, if you're there till 7:30 each time, maybe.
Maybe. It was like too many pizzas, and now there's like 3 boxes in the fridge of the teacher's lounge, which is sweet. I'm not going to pack a lunch for the rest of the week. But that'd be a lot of pizza. Be a lot of pizza.
Do you think you could bring those pizzas as soon as I said?
Probably not. I dare one of you guys to. Y'all should try this. I think you'd get away with it. Like, run in the lounge real quick, open the fridge, grab a slice, and run out. I think you'd be fine. Miss McCulloch she has that closet office, so maybe she'd be like, "What are you doing running through?" Maybe don't run. That would look sus. If you just kind of like walk in confident. Anyway.
I'm friends with I'm literally friends with everyone in the front office. They would let me.
If you got caught, you could even like throw meat. You'd be like, Mr. Cattleman wanted a slice and he can't come down here, so he wants a cold slice of pizza. But Miss Emmons has a micro, right? So you can heat that thing
I was
up.
calling an ant.
You're gonna say you were calling a rat, and then you'd be calling me.
I was just calling a rat. You wouldn't dare.
All right, I bet we can use a story which would be straight impressive. Okay. Maybe tomorrow, since we'll check homework. Because we're being very productive this week. Maybe we can watch a video at the end of class tomorrow. Okay, I'll love video. Rex Regis is king. Dux Ducus is related to the verb duco ducra, to lead, but it's like the noun version, it's leader. And Pacquiao again is to make. It's the second time we're seeing it. So I'll start y'all off with this. We're going to have different subjects for this sentence, but the verb is going to be can make. So Juno, they're going to explain to us what the different gifts being offered are. And they're weird ephemeral gifts. One is like human. But Juno can make Am Regan. She can make Am is going to be him. We're referring to Paris. So Juno can make him a, not queen. So no, it's confusing. I know why you would think that. So remember, guys, third declension nouns. Guys, like 3 more. Isn't this the last sentence? Where are we? Last or second to last? Let's do. Okay. Well, yeah. How about we'll do this and we'll be done. I think there is at least one more, but just hang tight. So Aiden, Rowan, Caden, Landon. I can see your mouth's moving because your mask isn't totally on. Which is, I guess, fine by me because I'm a huge hypocrite. So Juno can make him a. Oh, but the thing I wanted to explain is the reason you would think this is Queen Brandy, because remember, third declension nouns, their nominative is just unique. We have a lot of third declension nouns that have an X at the end of it. Nox is night, Lux is light, Nux is Arx is citadel. What else? I don't know. I like them. Pax is peace. We have though. But anyway, outside of the nominative, the X goes away, and it'll turn into different letters. Like for king, it turns into a G. So yeah, unfortunately, it often looks like Regina, queen. But Regan is first declension, so she would get different endings after that G. But anyway, Juno can make him, aka Paris, a king. Minerva, Athena can make him a. Dukin is from Dux Ducus. See, oh yeah, Dux is a new one that has an X, but the X turns into a C outside of the nominative for whatever reason. So it only has the X when it's a subject. She can make him a leader. That's a third declension accusative. Venus, however, and this is the weird one. Like I said, it's a human being as the gift, which seems unfair to the human being. But yeah, like Juno can make him a king, which kind of makes sense because she's the queen of the gods. So she's like, she would like pass authority on to him. Athena is like a military strategist, so she would make him like a general, I guess. But Venus, however, can give Ea. So if A was the accusative him, like make him a direct object, Ea is a dative. So Venus, however, can give blank him. Anyone? What preposition for dative for the 5th time today? Yeah, can give to him Helenon. What's Helenon?
Helen.
Yeah, she can give him Helen. And who is Helen? Bellissimum omnia feminarum. She is the most beautiful
woman.
Close, because omnia feminarum are actually genitive. They're not the same case as Bellissimum, which is just accusative to agree with Helen. You can give him Helen, the most beautiful. What is omnium feminarum? Those are both. What case? I think I already said it. Huh? Of all women. Yeah, the most beautiful of all women. Yes. Okay. And then again, there's this ambiguity of like, does he like get Cupid to shoot Helen with an arrow? Definitely in some versions. Does that give Helen agency? At that point, is she actually in love with Paris, or is it like a spell? Same question with Medea. Same question with Dido. Someone needs to write like a modern graphic novel that would get like a lot of buzz. If people were like, I'm gonna like give Medea and Helen and all these characters, I'm gonna give them agency. Anyway, great class, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for homework.
I got like 3 bags. Snubble. I didn't hold on. And I got like and I was even using the fast. Like get it. More fun.
How do unit 3 go?
It was another customer. I got to sleep. I used my chair so much.
Was it McCullis? Parker?
No, it was just Carol.
As far as I know.
Long day of absolutely nothing.
But y'all had like a party for an hour in the middle of the day.
I heard that they only gave like the school teachers like $30.
Oh, for the snacks? That's not bad though.
Wait. Oh, that's more bad.
I guess. I did think it'd be more for like a party after we did the test. So it could be a different thing. It might be a different thing. Yeah. I think that's what the money was for.
Mr. Gardner, can I go? I accidentally stole one for sure.